Once all students gets joined, we start the event. Yeah, we'll start the session now. Very delightful morning to all the gathered one. I am Shukla Varnekar from second year student of Department of Information Science from Bapuji Institute of Engineering and Technology. Takes this as an immense pleasure to welcome you all. Samskar Foundation started in the month of March with a motive to serve the mankind in all possible ways we can, under the guidelines of Mr. Vinay MT, Assistant Professor of BIT College. We have accomplished few of works like distributing ration kits to 25 underprivileged houses and chaman pressures for frontline workers of corporation. And also we organized webinar session with Pramod Chakravarti sir about how to make ourselves ready for coming 2 years. We have team of alumni and students of BIT helping hands in organizing this event. The student names goes like this. Rajwal Jain, working at Infosys. Rajesh, working at Navjay. Vaibhav, working at Palladian. Adarsh, currently second year student of ISE department. Samanvita, third year student of ISE department. Yogashri, final year student. Ishwar, second year student. Chaitra, third year student. Apurva Ramani, second year student. She is logo designer and video editor of our team. We are here at the webinar meet to gain knowledge about how to build effective resume, way to catch attention of interviewer and minute mistakes while preparing it. We, the people of Samskar Foundation, are really happy and excited to see the student attending this event from different colleges. I feel honored to introduce today's chief guest, Mr. Vineeth MG, who's presently working as Human Resource Business Partner at Power School Group LLC. He has 9+ years experience on human resources, talent management, business partnerizing, leadership development, session planning, business development, performing management, learning and developing, campus recruitment, and many more. I heartily welcome you, sir. I also welcome founder and director of Samskar Foundation, Mr. Vinay MT, and coordinator and all members of Samskar team. I request me.
Yeah, Shukla, you can go.
I heartily welcome you, sir. I also welcome founder and director of Samskar Foundation, Mr. Vinay MT. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
And also, I welcome coordinator and all members of Samskar Foundation. And also thank Shreyas Varnekar, Raw Labs, digital partner for Samskar events. Now I request Mr. Vinay MT to speak few words.
Yeah. A very good morning to one and all present here and to all the participants to attending this webinar session. This is very important and needed one in all ways for the students. So I welcome once again the Vineeth MG sir, the HR partner from LLC. So he accepted my invitation and he came today for this webinar session in his busy schedule, and hope this event will be grand success by his session about resume preparation, which is very needed one, and how to face the interviews in virtual way. So I thank you, sir, Vineet, sir, for this, and I also thank my team who is working hard for to make this event grand successful. And I will just say everyone a happy Yoga Day and happy Father's Day to all of you, and we'll start the session. Vineet, sir, you can go with your session. Thank you all.
Quick one. I think I'm hearing an echo. Can all stop sharing your audios? Hope you can hear.
We'll mute everyone.
There's also somebody host is sharing an audio. Please don't do it. I'm hearing my own voice after a delay of 10 seconds. Okay, I think it's better now. Fine. Thanks a lot. It's been a splendid morning and also a longest day of the year. So good morning all, and thanks for spending some time, at least taking out your time in a busy schedule that you guys have opted to have a discussion or attend this discussion very appropriately. So once again, let's go ahead what we want, I mean, the topic of the day. Hope you guys can see my screen. Yes. Okay. I shall keep this session very interactive rather than I speak a lot. I want you guys also speak. Uh, so feel free to unmute yourself, or you could just raise a hand so that the co-host or people who are just controlling this, they could actually alert me so that we can have a discussion over there. So again, as the introduction goes, like I have just completed my 10 years as HR business partner in IT industry. And it's been a splendid journey till now. So what do you think? Like I also I have an engineering degree, but still I've been in HR for last 10 years. What made me think that I should be moving to be in HR is a wonderful story altogether. So it never stopped me that I don't have an opportunity post after my graduation. The same way, I would also inspire you guys with certain attributes and behaviors that what makes you a better engineer, and if at all, how could you create your own opportunity? Having said that, it was the year 2009. I think it was a year where we had a one cycle of recession. Every 4 to 5 years, we shall have one cycle of recession. And the year 2008 and 2009, it was highest peak. So we were having a tough time in finding out a job anywhere else. And that was the year I think we graduated. So that didn't stop us. So how did I uh, overcome all those situations, hurdles, and got into this job. But what makes me to look forward that if at all any student or a candidate who looks for a job, how would they look? I mean, how would they actually prepare themselves for a better opportunity in the IT industry or anywhere else? So, does your degree alone is enough? What do you think, guys? Hope I think degree will not help you to get any kind of a job, but beyond which any job that you want to go through or you want to acquire for, you need to also pursue certain skills, capabilities. So this is how I think I would see for it. Uh, Next thing is, see, graduation is a part. Say it is a juncture that you will get through your scores. Then what next? Do we have any kind of opportunities just only in the IT industry, or do we need to explore beyond IT industry? That might be a one kind of a question that all of you guys can come through. But no, this is not the end. Like IT industry is not the end of getting any job. You need to acquire skills, you need to be knowledgeable, you need to be presentable yourself. All you need to do is inspire your next generations. This is an ongoing process, and if you are part of this ongoing process, definitely you will be successful. Having said that, it is not so easy. Now that you guys are studying in third year or fourth year of engineering, but you should be mature enough to understand what an industry is looking out for. So any kind of industry will actually look for a candidate or a student who is not only bright enough in this academics, but there are a lot many attributes as a skills. He should be presentable, he should be communicating better, he should be coordinating with the team, he should be a good team player, whatnot. And it is very common that these attributes or behaviors are very easy right now. And it is not something that you can't achieve or you're not able to do it at this point of time. Can I get to know, like, have you guys have any one of you guys have interacted with your colleagues or students from different colleges? Have they actually got into the jobs, your seniors also? Have you tried to connect with any one of your seniors who have gotten job and try to check on how they are doing, how did they get job? I have 77 participants here. I should also have some responses over this discussion. You got, I'm not seeing any kind of responses. You guys are hearing me out, right?
So they will be having the questions in chat box.
No, chat box is fine. I would also prefer probably if they could unmute themselves and they could speak.
Yeah.
Oh, that's also fine.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, perfect. So have you guys made an effort to check with your seniors that how did they get job, what they are doing, what are their hurdles? Nobody's interacting. Okay.
Can unmute themselves and they can ask the question and they can interact. Uh,
what is the way forward to them? You guys can hear me, right? I'm sure. I think I'm getting muted, unmuted.
Yeah, we can hear you, sir.
Yes. Okay. So COVID situation has not let any one of the companies to stop hiring. So there are industries who have been in a better business right now. So there are industries, who are doing a business till now. So the industries who are in sync, or I could say they are still having a business, is something on pharmaceuticals, healthcare. You do have telecommunications, education companies, education tech companies. So these are the industries are still growing, and there are industries which needs to be running out of business because they are not the priorities. So you'll have a better differentiation of how industries would be there. Having said that, like, it is not an end of a roadblock, or there is a road where you can't go ahead. You need to try to understand the industries which are alive altogether in this COVID situation. I think this situation has helped us to understand how best we could able to prepare for the worst situations and what makes you more better. This experiences when you come across in the COVID, it is a lifetime journey. Okay, I think if not this generation, I think in the next future generations, they would not know how to overcome a uncertain situation. So there are a lot of lessons learned out of this COVID situation. And now corporates or the companies, what do they look forward when the fresh graduates? Now that you all get graduated in this year or next year, but what is the formula change for you guys to get hired? Once you get hired, how best you could able to adapt to the corporate? So there is a huge transition happening from how the situation was before and how the situations would be in future as well. What makes you best in getting adapted to the situation? The main formula is adapt and explore opportunities. You shouldn't be thinking on how or what that needs to be done, but how best you could able to provide a solution, how best you could able to adapt to the situation. And way forward, as I mentioned, in the next 1 or 2 years, the whole formula, the situation is something which is very unique. And now I guess I think in the last 2 3 months, most of the corporates have explored and they have come up with a kind of a formula that how could they actually keep on the work going on. I agree. Probably all our industries are very much well connected. If not one industry, there are different industries who have a dependency. So there are industries who are interdependent. They might be having a issues to run smoothly, move ahead, and if not, they might be having hiccups so that they can't move ahead. So choose wisely which industry that you want to go to, and irrespective of which industry that you would choose for, it has its own importance. So it is not something that the certain industries, the banking, retail, transportation, or logistics. So there are industries which have their own flavor of importance, and ensure that you are valuing each other's industries, what they are doing into. Having said that, the attributes, first thing, I think, how to get hired. This is a question of an hour, need of an hour right now. What do you think in a corporate or in any organization wants you to be part of their organization? How do you make yourself upright? How do you make yourself more precise that they are looking forward you as a person? See, it is very least that you would be hired for your academic accomplishments or the records that you come across through certifications or achievements through your academics. To be very precise, the knowledge is on papers. That that knowledge paper is very much to ensure that you have a seat to have a criteria. It's a criteria, it's a gate, benchmark. But beyond which, you just don't need to set that benchmark, but you should go beyond that one. So, your academic scores are to ensure you are just crossing one first level of hurdle. It's a step one. How do you cross the next steps of getting ahead is more important. As we go ahead,
Shut up, bitch.
Hey, I got a question.
yes, please. Okay. So now that, yeah, you are having a good scores in your academics, but this academic scores, as I said, it is step one. But what makes you to get a better job in an organization? Yes, there are a lot many opportunities. Okay, you can go for a higher studies. You could join an organization, private or government. You could support your family business, but you can also become an entrepreneur, or you can start teaching. You can be a professor for yourself. But I would only recommend don't be idle for more than 3 months. You should be doing something else for the sake of being occupied for not couldn't be idle for not less than 3 months. Just a moment. In that case, to be very precise, see, now that you are good at your academics, next thing is how do you prepare a better resume? You know how much time does it take in a recruiter like being an HR? It takes not more than 6 seconds just to look into your whole resume, and we would see whether this person, the a candidate, is very worth enough for my organization. So you have to catch hold of a recruiter who could look into your resume, how best the resume actually speaks for yourself. How do you prepare that resume as an art? So I shall be sharing you a template or some kind of an information that how strong you could build your resume and what makes an recruiter to stick to the resume for more than 6 seconds. If you can understand why, what, when, where, and how is a purpose of what you need to be doing, you would try to achieve what you need to do. So, better be precise on what you need to be doing. Write down a goal, and getting a job is also a goal for you guys. As I mentioned, the goals are not something that is fixed for your whole lifetime. There are goals which can be even short goals or long term goals as well. Goals get evolved. So try to understand what is the purpose of your goal and to attain or to under how do you uh, diversify or break down the goals. These questions, if you could able to answer for yourself, definitely you would be setting up the goals for yourself. And the private career options, I would say IT industry, non-IT industry, biotech industry, public sectors, banking sectors, pharmaceuticals, and sports and athletics. So these are the few industries that have actually named across. So to be very precise, types of industries that we have is service-based or product-based. If you are going to build any kind of a product, the organizations would be termed as a product-based industries, but there are organizations which actually provide services for these product-based industries. They would be actually service-based industries who would be supporting the product-based industry. Need not to be, there are certain organizations who would have the complete end-to-end solutions, right? From they build the product, they service the product, and they maintain the products. So there are companies who have the both the wings of these product and service-based industries. In government career options, defense, research analysis, bureaucrats, that is your IAS, IPS, whatsoever, scientist, being a research scholar, archaeology. So these are some of the government career options for after being an engineer. And yeah, today's topic, I think, that we have arrived through. Now that, okay, you have completed your graduation. Now that, how do you make an impact with your resume? You should be keeping it very simple. Don't use a language which is more tougher. How do you come across whether it is tough or not? Try not to Google certain Google templates or resume templates. You don't need to copy and paste the jargons or the information over those templates. I would only say write the few words which you could able to understand. If you could able to understand, definitely you could able to speak that. You should have a crisp objective. The objective is to make a recruiter think twice whether this candidate is appropriate or he is well balanced for my organization or not, and try to provide a correct information. This is a very serious issue where if you are not providing a correct information, definitely that would lead to a lot of ambiguity, and there is an issue where the organization might not have trust amongst your candidature. So if at all they found any individual finds that your information provided is false, definitely you will stand no chance in getting any kind of a job or an opportunity with that organization. Avoid jargons and abbreviations. Expansions is better. Expand the abbreviations. Never ever try to provide the abbreviations in your resume. Section for academic achievements. Yes, please try to mention from your 10th standard, your grade 10 till the semester that you are currently into, and have a detailed information of all the records or the scores that you have actually got. Hobbies, the hobbies that you want to list down, please ensure those hobbies are very simple enough. Don't try to portray that something that you are not achieving there. It's like reading a newspaper is very simple thing, or having listening to the music is very common. So ensure you are mentioning a hobby which you are doing uh, out of your passion. So these hobbies of out of your passion that you do, which would actually catch hold of all the recruiters mainly. Somebody had asked for a question: what are jargons? Jargons are something like you use it very frequently, but they don't mean it. It is very specifically like IDK, I don't know. So there are jargons which are very specific to your group. Say you might be explaining your project. Your project might be in data science or field theory, whatsoever. Don't use some certain words that only you guys can only understand to it. If you could able to expand or provide a precise information about those the points that you want to mention, those are called jargons. I think. Avoid those jargons. So I shall share a document. Just a moment. Okay. Hope my screen. I think I have to share the screen. Yeah. So some of the basic, I mean, this is a template which you could guys actually use for that would be very much helpful for you guys. So you should have your name on top of it. Please don't ever try to mention as a resume or a curriculum vitae. Ensure that you have a name out of it. Your address, your mail ID, and I've seen a lot of candidates who have come up with a crazy mail ID. Okay, I'm cool, um, I'm I'm very super. That kind of a mail IDs are something very no to mention over your professional resume. Your phone number should be having an alternate phone number as well. Objective, as I mentioned, looking for an excellent opportunity to work as an engineer. You guys are engineers, right? Excellent skills and mechanical engineer background that will help me to give a better service to your company. So this is very precise and to the point, and you don't take lot many time, or you'll not use a lot of big words over here. So this is very simple. As I mentioned, technical profile. You are engineering. This should be on a reverse order. What is that you're doing right now? Should be at the first, and your 10th standard would be at the last. Software skills that I mentioned. This is something on the technical skills. Okay. Beyond this technical skills, you could also mention something on your behavioral attributes as well. Being a team player, you would have you would have achieved certain things in your college, a debate competition. So those are also your soft skills that you can mention as well. Achievements, what is that you have achieved till now? Achievements might be as simple as you being a representative in your forum till you have actually presented a paper on a particular topic on a particular symposium or so. What are your strengths? So these strengths, what I mentioned here, these are very common. Okay, you should be adhering to these skills or these strengths that you are possessing all those strengths, rather than you just put forward something which is very much common. Ensure you are putting certain strengths which are very much applicable for you in precise. Your final year project, really this makes sense. And this is an optional criteria. If you don't have any kind of a final year project that you could able to portray in your resume, please feel free to not to do it. Yes. Hobbies, as I mentioned, please don't put this. I have specifically mentioned here. These are very common. Okay. These are something which you shouldn't be putting it. And if you want to have mentioned what are the hobbies that you want to do it, as I mentioned, more be precise. If somebody is a guitarist, please do it. But unless you aren't a guitarist, you don't do it. Okay. Uh, this personal information, yes, definitely it's required as a fresher, and to be very precise, as a fresher. Okay. Once you grow ahead in your career, you could start omitting your parent names, and you could still update your as a personal information, your marital status, date of birth, gender, nationality, passport details, languages known, and a declaration. This is very important. The declaration is very important in such a way that you are ensuring that all the information that you put forward in this resume is very true. You are affirming yourself that I'm not sharing something wrong here. That makes you more responsible. Okay. Uh, you could, I mean, I had a question saying that you could actually mention your internships. Yes, that is a must, I guess. If not, final year project, you could also mention your internships. That is also more precise. So this is about the resume that I just want to discuss with you guys. Next thing, I think we can get code here. Yes. So there was a situation where employee or a candidate who comes to the organization, and the person might have actually explained that these are the skills that I have actually possessed, and I have lot many certifications. Yes, definitely certifications is a good thing that you would actually come across, and you should be completing it during your free time. But if you are explaining those certifications, if you are mentioning those certifications, be ensure that you are up to it. You just don't need to complete the certification that somebody has completed for it. If you are not able to understand, or if you are not able to explain what kind of a certification that you have completed, if there are any questions which is uh, which is on the certifications that any individual has completed, please don't mention. Try to don't mention the certifications that you are not been confident of. I've actually come across certain resumes who they have mentioned that I have actually uh, done Ruby on Rails React.js. Okay, and when we try to question them on a particular uh, technical capabilities, ask them to write a code or not, they would fail to do it. Simple thing is they are trying to build those certifications for taking off or putting them on resume. Until unless you have a hands-on experience to it and you're confident about the information, please don't try to put them on your resumes. Having said that, there are dilemmas like in the perceptions from the organizations. If you are really good at communication skills, if your academics are really cool enough, you have scored a great marks, but still you are not getting hired. Why is it so? You have done a great job in your resume. Your resume is very much appropriate. You would cut across all the benchmarks. You would have gone through the communication GD process, written exams. But during a final interview, if you are not able to crack through it, why is that you are not able to do it? Okay. The, as and when the steps go ahead in the hiring process, it would be more stringent and it would be more tougher. But at the same time, as long as you keep yourself very simple, that is very easy for anyone to just cut across, or you just need to go through it. So some of the experience I just want to share you, I think, with certain stories that I want to do it. Just a moment. So now that you have selected, you have been selected, your resume has been selected. You know that who are my potential employers, like in which industry that I would actually be fit in for. You'll have all those dreams, like I should be in a service-based industry, product-based industry, or whatsoever the industries that you might actually come across. You should try to identify who are my potential employer. Am I fit for IT industry? Am I fit for government jobs? See, it all comes by your perceptions, how best you could able to prepare yourself. But if you see you need a guidance, which industry that you would actually fit in for, try to be in connect, or try to find a mentor who could actually explain you your strengths and weaknesses. Every individual will have a weakness, but ensure that those weaknesses have been channelized in such a way that that would be your strength. Okay, so having said that, you should have a mentor, and the mentor would only try to identify what kind of an industry that you could be able to fit into. So with that understanding, now that you have a fixed list of industries that you would like to work for, try exploring. You need to do a lot of research. There should be a reading on what kind of an industry, what kind of an organization that I should be fitting for. Get into their websites, explore what they do, try to understand their work, their work in the sense what kind of an industry they are into. So just an example, like people are in the banking and financial industries. In banking and financial industries, what is that they do? Do they provide solutions for the customers, or they do provide solutions for the banking system? They do a core banking, or they do a personalized banking? What kind of a banking they do? What are the innovations they come up with? So this is a small example that how do you try to explore the industry that you are in, banking and financial industry. There are a lot many industries I mentioned: retail, manufacturing, logistic industries. Rightly, I'm into education tech industry. So you can better understand what kind of a domain that you want to be in. Understand the job description. Even a fresher job, somebody who wants to start a job right now also, they'll have a job description. Okay, the description might be as simple as adhering to the process of an organization, right from handling a code till it's been handed over to the QA team. Be a team player, understand the process of the organizations. These are the very basic job description of an individual who are in the freshers. So it should match your experiences. How do you gain your experiences? Either through your projects or internships or whatsoever. So this is how you try to connect those dots and be more specific to the industry or the work that you are going through, preparing for an interview. And now that you have come across, now that the step one is done, your academics are good, you might have given a written test, your aptitude GD has been cleared. If you are in front of an interviewer right now, what is that you need to do? How best you could able to prepare? What makes you to crack that discussion? Ensure that you are being one of the blue-eyed guy or a girl to be selected for that job or role. So prepare a script. To start with, you should be rehearsing your discussions on some of the basic questions that I would actually explaining you in future in the next slides. Those questions are very common, and these are something when you try to rehearse it, it would only make you more confident and ready to be presentable at any point of time. And these questions might not be as simple as I think I would be explaining, but it would be in a different way as well. So once you once you try and start preparing for the worst, if something was very easy, you would be doing very much better. The more you prepare, more confident you will be through. But now, just imagine that you are in front of an interviewer. What is that they would actually look out for? And once I go through all these things, I would also mention now the situation of COVID, right? The whole game of interview has been changed. So I will also explain how the transformation has happened in the last 2 3 months versus what was happening before and what might be in the future as well. So you should have a good attire. How, as an individual, men, it should be simple light colored shirts as a dark trousers, belt, shoes of the same color, having a tie without having any elaborate patterns or too many colors. Head to toe, your hair should be well groomed, shoes should be polished. So any interviewer, if you're working in any office, these are the certain things in a man that they would get noticed for. And if you have been presentable at a single what you call the first impression, definitely you would stand a better chance in getting a job. Okay, women, a suit or an interest is preferable. Make sure you are presentable again with less or no jewels, minimal cosmetics, and mild perfumes or deos. So every other sense, like in if you now that you have started interacting with an one other human, you are still into communications, you are part of your GD questionnaires, you would be just doing a written examination. But now that you are in front of a other individual, and that person is not an alien, he is also a human being like as you are. Think of that and be prepared. If you are trying to interact with another human being, how you should be presentable enough makes more precise. Having said that, now that the situation has arisen where we have a very minimal human contact right now, and it has not stopped industries or the organizations to hire employees. Um, we have, I mean, the industries are still hiring people, but what has changed is over this medium of virtual media, like it is through Zoom apps or any other virtual apps, you would be asked to attend an interview. So how would you do that one? Even though now that you are not meeting the person in person, face to face, but through your virtual medium, how would be doing it? The first steps would be very precise, right? From your academics, now that you get selected, complete your written examination. That would be an online examination. Capability assessment test would some of the organization would prefer for. Once you clear that capability assessment text, you'll be actually having a round of discussion with the recruiter on how best you could actually schedule an interview. You would discuss on the schedule which is very much comfortable for you as well, and that would be for the organization. So ensure you are accepting the schedule which would be helping for you as well. So make sure that your discussions are well versed, like in well controlled. uh, in that case, once the schedule is done, ensure you log in to those credentials well ahead of the time, might be 5 to 10 minutes before the schedule. Ensure you are well groomed. As I mentioned, the virtual medium will only, the change will only be through a telecommunications or through the Zoom apps or whatsoever, but everything remains the same. Fun other part is there's no human interaction, so you don't need to be very precise on your uh, perfumes or not. That's it. Otherwise, everything all else will remain the same. So you ensure that you have been presentable enough, you are polite enough, and you try to communicate in a such a way that you are very much confident. I shall be sharing some of the links which make you more confident in terms of your body languages. If I start touching those on informations about the body languages and what is that actually that means, that actually explains you in precise, I think you could get that information after this discussion. And these are certain very small, I could say, changes that anyone can get it done through, and that makes you more confident. Okay. So this is something that any organization would look out for, like, and if you are getting hired for. So as I mentioned, if it is on a face-to-face, as an in person, you should be arriving 10-15 minutes prior to the start. The same thing it will also apply for if you are attending through a Zoom app or a virtual medium as well. You should be having an greeting to the, when you should greet the interviewer with a firm handshake. Now you can't do it, but still you should be greeting them as an interviewer. Maintain a good eye contact. This is something very positive in it. If you are not able to see through your recruiter, if you try to look into the all the areas of your virtual background, virtual medium, or if you are in person, don't do it. Make sure you are energetic and enthusiastic. Be prepared to get the responses, get the feedback. If it is positive or negative, but still you should be very much confident enough to understand what they are actually looking out for. Speak clearly and try to articulate. Having said that, speak clearly doesn't mean that you shouldn't be speaking what you don't need to do it. You should always be speaking something which has to be conveyed. Don't try to suppress yourself that what needs to be communicated. There are instances where the recruiters will be looking forward to open up a conversations. They might be using certain situations which might not be correct as well. You could stop the interviewer and try to explain them. This is a way of trying to, an interviewer might be asking you to open up a discussion as well. So don't be accepting the things whatever the interviewer might be saying. So you need to be smart enough and as well as proactive to correct them as well, and that makes you more confident, and it is not something that they will not be accepting at. Everyone will be accepting that. And some of the standard questions, as I mentioned, tell me about yourself. What is your greatest strength? What is your weakness? Where do you see yourself after 5 years? So these are the specific, I could say, these are the templates of questions that they would actually come, any organization would ask for it. But only thing that they would look forward is how best you are presenting them, or what kind of a communication that you are doing during those discussions is much more required. Okay. There are situations, as I mentioned, I think one of the candidate I was interviewing for, the candidate was very strong enough on the technical capabilities. We had got a good feedback on the technical round as well. But when it comes to the communication, soft skills part, you might be asked to resolve a certain situation. You will be given a situation which is very much live enough. They would ask you to resolve a particular solution, like in within 10 minutes, I'll give you the situation. How would you try to attain that one? How would you try to resolve that one? When you are trying to resolve that situation, that catches an eye of a recruiter, whether this person will be able to work in an organization. Is this a person who is appropriate for my organization or not? They will get to know the next 2-3 minutes of when you try to communicate. Behavior based questions, as I mentioned, you'll be given a kind of situations. So once you, the questions that you can ask for the interviewer, you, what kind of a training that you will receive, what are the career advancement opportunities that are available in the organization, if at all I've been selected, what kind of a career growth I could look out for, is there any timetable for the rest of the hiring process. You could understand what is the hiring process all through it. Is there anything that after this round I should be discussing with somebody else? What kind of a domain that you will be into, industry that you will be into, what technology that you can be into. Be ensure that once you follow up with an employer, ensure you thank him, thank the interviewer, send out a mail the same day or the next day, and you'll have an opportunity to ask the next steps. So this, you don't need to lose out on it. So when you actually complete one discussion, you should always look forward that what kind of a feedback that you're getting in. So nevertheless, you, if you get selected or not get selected, but ensure you're getting a right feedback. You can always ask for the feedback from the interviewer. If you're not getting selected, what were the things that were been left out? And that is an opportunity to actually improve your self as well. Having said that, this was very precise. As I mentioned, I think I can't elaborate on how you could able to prepare yourself, but these are certain things you don't need to miss for it. So as I mentioned, I think I'm happy to answer your questions right now. You guys can actually unmute yourself or chat window, whatever I think Vinay and others would prefer for.
Yeah, if they raise hand, we will just unmute them so
Okay.
that we can go with the questions, or they can go with the chat box. They can have the questions. We will ask that questions.
Okay. So I'm actually even looking out for the chat box. Okay.
They
Suresh
are
is
asking,
asking. Yeah.
yeah.
So Suresh is asking for, do we have a fixed format for a resume? As I mentioned, I think I have a format. Probably I could share you. Need not to be that you should be following the same format. Like, and you could actually change those formats at your ease. There are a lot many things that you would get it in the Google as well right now. But I have mentioned in my format what needs to be there in the resume. So the content part, or the, I could say, the skeleton is available. You could beautify whatsoever that you want. And can you show sample job description, how we can understand to it? Right now, I think I have something for experience level. For a fresher level, I can share in this. I think it is on the YouTube, right? So I could share on the YouTube links, or I could just pass on to the other or Vinay so that they could get shared to you guys. Um, see, suggest some website for an aptitude. I'm here to ensure you are getting prepared for an interview, but not how you can actually prepare for an aptitude. Those are technical skills, I could say, your capabilities that you should come across. So I would say these are R.S. Agarwal books, and also you can't do it through websites actually. So it is not through websites. Udemy, which would actually host for it, you could only go through the mock test.
Those who have questions, they can raise their hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody
Sneha.
has, okay, anonymous reason that I missed a resume writing session. Oh, I think YouTube recording would be there. So please go through that YouTube recording. That would be helping for you.
I will just unmute Sneha, sir.
Okay. So I shall stop sharing my screen so that we could have a discussion very precisely. Should I take a question from chat, I guess? I think how
Yeah.
do I tailor my resume according to the job profile? Um, Shanmug, Shanmug, I could see Shanmug. Okay. See, right now as a fresher, okay, job details or job descriptions would be very precise. I think it is very common. So you could have a generic resume for right now, but I don't think you'll have an opportunity to have multiple resumes as a fresher until unless you are very specific about your internships or certain areas of technical capabilities that you have actually come across. Some of the organization might not be looking forward for a React JS or something on Java, .NET. So these are specific things. I would only say you have better opportunities when it comes to as a fresher. But as you grow ahead, your career breaks up, and you'll have more specific area of expertise. Yes, okay. Cover letter. This is important. This is not so much important as a fresher right now. But if you still have a cover letter, I could share you a template of what is a cover letter for. See, cover letter are very say customizable, and that can't be very generic. Okay, so as a fresher, if you have a cover letter, it should be addressing to the recruiter that you have got an opportunity. Say you have got an opportunity for an XYZ organization on a fresher, and these are the job descriptions. Say 1 2 3 4 points that you have. This is a thing for this opportunity. If you are writing a cover letter, try to address the person who have been actually asking for an interview. Mention that I'm glad that I have received this opportunity through this medium, like in Naukri or LinkedIn or whatsoever. And if at all I got this opportunity, what is that I could able to do? So you mention those in 2 3 points. So that would be your cover letter for your resume. I think one topic I think I have I just want to touch up as well. How best you could able to make use of the websites of recruitment. Naukri, LinkedIn, look, there are Google jobs, IIM jobs. So something which is very common is Naukri. So ensure you are updating your resume on Naukri on day basis. Like you need to do an update. The reason I'm actually specifying why you should be updating day wise is you don't have an update. Like for a day, you don't need to have any information that has to be updated on Naukri, but ensure you are saving something. You just take out your resume and try to update your resume. Edit your phone number, ensure you have the same phone number, mail IDs, like that. So when you start saving the Naukri profile at each day, your chances of getting hired will be more because you are very much active on Naukri. And in Naukri platform, is there a way that you could actually stand apart or your profile will be highlighted? Yes, the headline field in Naukri is very catchy, and that will make you to search your resume at any point of time. So ensure you are having a catchy headlines. That headline is your objective of your resume should be part of your headline as well. And to be very very specifically, if you're looking out for any kind of a job like on a .NET or a Java, the technologies that you're looking out, please mention that on your headlines. So that search will be popping up your resume at frequently. Okay. Yes, without an internship also you could still create a resume. So it is not something that without an intern, nobody would be looking forward for an internship. But I do believe after now, I think 2015 or 16, the internships has been very common, and it has been actually suggested from the university as well. If you are going through the internships, that would be a added advantage. Which are the websites are good for freshers like Naukri? Yeah, Naukri is better. But next thing is LinkedIn. So I would take some time to explain about the LinkedIn. So I have actually gotten a lot many requests through LinkedIn as well, where I could able to see the profile. One good thing is, as a student, if you are creating a profile in LinkedIn, that is very appreciated. But having said that, it is not just this blank page that you should be creating. So LinkedIn is not your Facebook page, okay? And as the LinkedIn says, it is a professional network. So you would be coming across lot many professionals who are influencers who are at a uh, highest CXO levels, being at the CEO, CXOs from a different organization. So ensure your LinkedIn page is very professional enough. Your photos, if you are displaying your photos on your LinkedIn profile, it should be very much professional. Not not having any hard backgrounds. The background should be very clear, and that makes more presentable. So as you are in front of an interviewer, think of that and have a photograph updated on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn also ensures that you would get job alerts as well. So make use of the job alerts, which would be very much same as precise as Naukri as well. But here what you could do is you could share your accomplishments. Even though if you're completing an internship, you have completed your certifications, ensure you are updating on your LinkedIn profile. I want to be an entrepreneur after certain years. Is that what? Um, See, as a fresher, if you are mentioning that in your interview that you want to be an entrepreneur, be sure on why and what is that you should be an entrepreneur. It is not bad that you are expressing your concerns or your aspirations to become an entrepreneur, but that shouldn't be a showstopper. Like in now that you have aspirations to become an entrepreneur, why do I hire you? Is there any reason that why should be hiring you? If you are not able to answer that one, definitely please don't mention that why you should be an entrepreneur. At what age? What is your ambitions as an entrepreneur? You should be very precise in explaining that. Can you give an assistance to build a resume? Like if you share a resume, can you get the feedback? Sure. So I think my mail ID is I think that will be shared from Vinay and others. You could send back to me for a review. I would do that one. Yes, you can add the Udemy courses as well. Which resume format is this? Chronological, functional, mixed? Say chronological is better. Functional, I'm not sure what is that you are looking out for. Functional might be if it is on the technology that you would be working on, definitely you could mention that one. Okay. Any more questions? I think I have just covered all the chat questions here. I could still spend 5 more minutes of time so that we could answer more questions over and over this platform as well.
Uh, Vineeth, sir, there is a question from my side.
Yes, please.
Yeah. The pre-final year students are there in the urge of their sixth semester completion.
Okay.
So and they're having they didn't go with their classes in
Mm-hmm.
physically. They went with their classes online.
Mm-hmm.
So they have some confusion. So the companies when they are hiring in the next academic year, so
Mm-hmm.
they are not in the sixth semester, but the subjects will be very important. Python like subjects are there on in many mechanical or in all the departments. So
Mm.
is there anywhere it will affect them in the interview process, or anywhere the HRs or the company will be blacklisting them or something like that?
Hmm. So this is a kind of a myth that any organization will try to blacklist any of the institutions. Okay. See, what they look out for is the skill. And how do you assess the skill? By the knowledge that they actually acquire for. Now that you get a knowledge from the sessions, you'll do an online Python course or a Python classes, you would score some marks, but not just scoring marks. When there is a situation, an interviewer or a technical panel will ask a question about Python, and if they are not able to crack those, it is as simple as that. So it is not specific that during this COVID season you will not be hired or you will not be what you call blacklisted. You'll not be blacklisted just because that you had your classroom sessions on online courses. And you know what? Not just only from the organizations, there are different um, okay centers as I mentioned. And there is one important thing I think yesterday we had discussed about this. So post your graduation, it is not important to join any of these coaching centers so that you will get your job assured. So how do you get an assurance to get your job is not by joining any of these coaching centers. Make yourself more adaptive, and as we mentioned in my early discussions, you should be ready to take up the challenges which are readily available and also create your own opportunities. Only thing that you could able to get through your coaching centers is your skills which you have learned before as well. So that is not an assurance that you would get a job. So having said that, these coaching centers or the Udemy courses which are still online, those certifications are still valid. It is not that they are not valid. At the same time, your academics which is on online course as well, online mode as well, that is also still be valid.
Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you. And there is a one sentence always from Google.
Yes.
The we know that 40% of Google employees do not have a degree but work with their
Yeah.
skills.
Yeah.
But this is one thing where whenever many of the students will ask us, so
Mhm.
either we need a marks or either we need a skills. So,
Okay.
how you will address from your side?
Definitely. So there's a different angle to it. There's a paradigm shift. Okay, there are organizations who were looking out for degrees in previously, like in now that after ages now, it's been 20 years. The whole IT industry has evolved from starting from 2000. If I take through it, Now people will say it is the skills that gets hired, not for your degrees, but it is not completely agreeable. There are organizations in the Midwest, like in from the US side or the European sides, they still follow through it because they only hire for the skills that you are possessing for. Okay, that is completely myth for India, but not for other part of the world. Okay, but having said that, if you are having a mindset stating my degrees might not matter, my skills only matters, you should be very, 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 I could say, very much say wonderful. I could say you should be an exceptional. You don't need to have a replacement for you. In that case, only your skills have been attracted. Okay, it is not as simple that now that I am a college dropout, I could get a job anywhere else just because that I have college dropout and I have a good skills. That is a myth. None that can be. You don't need to be in that kind of a mindset.
There is a question in chat box from Rajesh. I think you can go
Yeah.
with that.
So I have placed in a company, which is a question. If I placed in a company A, meanwhile, if I attend interview in some other country B, should I reveal that? See, as a fresher, I don't think you should be revealing that one until unless you have a job offer letter and you have a joining date attributed to that offer letter. You don't need to be mentioning that. If at all any interviewer asks for it, this is some tricky question. If some recruiter might ask, you have any opportunities, you have any other open positions that you have been selected for, just mention that I'm exploring for better opportunities in the industry and I'm open for any kind of a challenges. What does it mean? That as a organization you are also looking out for so many engineers who can be a potential employer. As a candidate, I am also exploring lot many opportunities in the organizations. It is a give and take formula, so there's nothing like they will be what you call, they will be not selecting you. That kind of a dilemma is not there. So if you have immediate learner in any language, can we mention in that resume? So I don't get this understanding of immediate learner. Okay, this is a what you call a pitfall that you would actually dig up your own grave. There is nothing called as immediate learner. Okay, just on a casual note, I'll just mention somebody might have mentioned that I'm an adaptive, I'm an immediate learner. I would be very precise in getting things done. I can adjust to the changes. Okay. I have seen a candidate who has written all these things. I just asked him, like, I think you might have also come across all these information. I just asked, like, you've been in Bangalore. Can you speak Kannada from the last 5 years you have been here? He doesn't have an answer to it. So it is not simple that if you are an immediate learner, there's nothing like immediate learner. You should possess those skills and you should display those skills. Everyone is an immediate learner until unless
Yeah.
you can't able to give a better scope for it, you can't do it. Okay,
I'm
that's
having another question, sir.
yes, please.
So, yeah, communication skills and soft skills are more important, or for a fresher, or an the technical skills are very important.
Yes, this depends on the service industries or the product industries or the kind of organization that you're going through it. See, there are big companies who just hire graduates in bulk. Okay, you'll be hired in numbers, 50, 100 numbers. I can't name the companies, but you guys know it. So what they do is they will have their own schema of learning pattern. They'll have their training process for 3 months, 2 months, 15 days, whatsoever. So they would only prefer to get hired with people with great academics and good communication skills. But they are not worried about what kind of a technical proficiency you have, the competency you bring across. Your knowledge, skills, communications are just tick mark. Okay, those are checkpoints. Yes, he is good at 90%. Yes, he can come in. He can speak good communication language. He's a good communication. Yes, he can come in. He is able to articulate well. Yes, he can come in. But what kind of a technical proficiency an individual has, there's no check mark to it. So if you miss that one, the person can get into the organization, but he can't survive over there. But if you could able to possess that technical proficiency, be very much competent in what you do, you can get into any organization and you could still survive. To ensure, getting into the organization is one part, but how do you survive is the next part.
Yeah, true, sir. I think we have a question in chat box. Is only one computer language like Java or C enough to attend interview or get good company?
Um, see, as I been addressing for only for freshers, I could see Java or C whatsoever. You should know what is programming skills. Okay, I have actually come across many of the candidates who would have who would have mentioned lot many languages, but the basic of programming language, if you are not able to explain what is the logic behind a particular solution or question that they are asking, you will not meet your own criterias, right? Hope you can also agree, right, Vinay?
Yeah, I completely agree with. And
Yes.
another thing, we are not concentrating only on engineering students here.
Yeah.
Many
Okay.
of the students are from Bachelor of Computer BCA, and they are from MCA and from BBM BCom students also there in this session. So
Okay.
they're having some confusion. So
Okay.
on mechanical engineers or civil engineers or electrical electronics. So
Okay.
we have many things in our core companies, core languages, but
Mm-hmm.
somewhere we are not having those companies in India. So I need to shift myself into an IT industries. How I can face the interviews, how I can convince the HR or an interviewer that I am capable of handling the IT industries. I can handle the IT products also, IT services, so I can do.
Okay. See, it is nevertheless like if you are from a BCom background or a MCom or a CA background, if you can't, there's a myth. Okay, you can't step into an IT industry. That's a myth. Okay, but within your domain, I'm very specific about the domain here as MCom or BCom or CA whatsoever. Apart from your engineering studies, even I would consider BCA and MCA as part of the engineering studies because those are been had at par as an engineers as well. So beyond non-technical, that's been engineering, there are a lot many opportunities. Okay, you'll come across certain analyst roles which are on a particular domain. Okay, you should be working closely with the analytic part. You're working with the business development part, so that's where I think you'll be still be hired for. Your domain skills will be very much valid over there, and it is not that you can't step in. Ensure that you are following the same basic steps as a good communicator. Be presentable yourself. Sorry, be confident on what you possess as a degree or a kind of a graduation that you are into, and be sure on what the organization is doing. Try to have a research on what how could be I be fitting this company as a sorry for that. Yeah. So you should understand what is my role over this organization and how could I be best fit for it. If you could able to understand those, to be very precise, in the banking industry, what would be a person from a civil engineer can do? Okay, that is a very very big question. Okay, there are certain banking industries, and not so ever here in India. At least there are different banking industries who would actually have a mortgage loans. Okay, in the mortgage loans, you are trying to assess a property, and if you are trying to assess a property, you might require a civil engineer over there. And for that civil engineer being understanding, like he could able to understand the structures, and they could able to assess what kind of a building that they would go for a mortgage. Definitely the civil engineers makes, they will make a better decision over what kind of a property that it is. So you should try to understand what is my role in that organization, how could I be more adaptable over that organization. So where would you want to be after 5 years, like technical manager? See, this question is a very tricky question. I think I kept it open just because this is something which has become invalid right now, because you never know what will happen after 5 years. But you could only be a better professional. The very straightforward, a tricky question answer is, I want to be a better professional so that I'll be in much more demand. My technical skills have been refreshed, or I'll be in a pattern of learning till my end of my career. So at any point of time, your learning shouldn't be stopped, and that should be your answer. Higher studies. If you are mentioning about higher studies, I would say I would recommend no. And as a recruiter, I would say I would not hire an employee or a candidate who would actually aspire to have an higher studies. That would be a negative impact. Any more questions, Vinay?
Yeah.
So
Uh, at the end, I'm having one question. You can address it, and we can end up the session. So
sure.
I'm a sixth semester student, third
Hmm.
year, final year. I'm going to final year. how I
Mm-hmm.
need to prepare myself with
Mm-hmm.
confidence, with how I can face the interview, what all the prerequisites I needed, what are the pre-preparation I need to do now. So that is very important. And for the final year students, already they are in going to the examination,
Mm-hmm.
the final year exam, how they need to attend the interviews on outside the campus, how they need to approach the companies outside the campus, how they need to connect with the companies outside the campus. So we can say it and we can end the session.
Sure. So, people who are in the pre-final year and the final year, the whole formula differentiates. In the final year students, you should be more focusing on building your network. Try to build in as much as network, whether it is LinkedIn, Naukri, or any other social media platform. Ensure you're building a network, and try not to ask for a job. And I'm saying it very explicitly. You shouldn't be asking for a job or demanding for a job, but you should be presenting yourself that why I should be hired. If you could able to answer that why you should be hired, definitely there'll be no recruiter will stop you hiring. Okay. And this is what the formula for final years, like in, you should start networking more. You should focus on your academics as well, because you are at the end edge of your graduations. You might be having a formula of 70% to 30%. 30% focus on your academics, 70% in building a network. But in the pre-final years, ensure you are focusing on your academics more. 70% on your academics, because you have not still hit the stage of your final year, and you could still do preparation, something which is on your aptitude skills, technical skills, how you should be presenting yourself. Ensure your communications are at par. Have more kind of a discussions with these open platforms. You could join some of the meetup sessions, or you could some post some kind of an ideas over LinkedIn, Facebook, or whatsoever. Try to get those answers for your doubts. Try to reach in your alumni and networking people. Ask for more questions. You try to build a network of your own within your reach as well. Bring in from five different engineering streams. Try to address their challenges, and if you are able to understand those challenges, somewhere down the lane, if you have come across those challenges, you will be easy to accomplish those things. So there's a different formulas for pre-final year and final year students.
Yeah. Vinny, thank you. We had a very good session, and I thank Pramod sir also is in this session, and is continuously is in this session. And I thank
Yeah,
Pramod sir for giving your contact, and that's why we had a very good session with
my
you.
pleasure.
And I think I can just introduce our head of the department from mechanical department, Kumarappa sir is here from
Hello, sir.
VIT Engineering College. He
Good
is from
afternoon.
he is there from last 1 hour. He is listening to the session. So
Okay.
thank you, sir. Thank you, Kumar sir, for staying in this session. And I thank all the participants and stay connected with Samskar Foundation. I think in the future we have a very good plans with Vineeth sir and Pramod sir and many of the alumni of BDT Engineering College. And I need to mention this. So Vineeth sir is from BDT Engineering College and he's from Davangere only. So we had a very good discussion, sir, and thank you so much, and thank you, team, for this wonderful coordination, and we had a very good session, sir.
Thanks a lot, all. It's been my pleasure as well to be associated with Vinay and his team as well. These are the passionate folks. I think you guys have to look out for. You'll less have this kind of an opportunity. When I could able to remember my earlier days after my graduation, I used to run behind my alumni and as well as my seniors. Now that you have your alumni and seniors and lot many uh, equal mindset people amongst us, all yourself, ensure you are making good use of all of your people. This is a kind of a networking as well. Have a great day as well. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.